What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars. For today, I will be looking at Will Smith's latest film, Gemini Man, which just came out to digital today. I know I'm probably the only person who is going to say this, but this was one of my higher anticipated films of the year, simply because I'm a big fan of Will Smith. Before I focused all my attention on this YouTube channel, I often wrote for my website, daveexaminesmovies.com. And one of the last things that I did on that site was go through all of Will Smith's films. I wanted to know what the best of the best of the best was, which was a tie between Men in Black and I, Robot. But regardless, I'm always keen on seeing a new Will Smith film, and I'm usually disappointed that he doesn't always write a new song for the credits anymore, because I'm also a fan of his music too, so sue me. Don't think I'm too biased though, because I have given crap to Will Smith films in the past, so I can still be punctilious. So let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, punctilious, precise, or nitpicky. Gemini Man is about an incredibly skilled soldier with a specialty in the sniper rifle. But when he announces his retirement and learns of a super confidential secret, a hit is placed out on his life. But being the most skilled person of his craft, the only person that can actually kill him is himself, which is exactly who they send, a younger, stronger clone of Will Smith's character, ready to carry out any mission without question. So I'm actually super glad that I waited this long to see Gemini Man, because I would have absolutely hated watching it at the high frame rate it was released to theater in. That's just a bad idea all around. Why you'd want a film to look and feel like a soap opera is beyond me. There's just moments in this movie that I can tell were shot with a high frame rate in mind, but I still think they work 1,000 times better at your standard cinema frame rate of 24 frames per second. First and foremost, if you're going to watch this movie, watch it at that standard rate. Anyways, essentially, this movie is exactly what I thought it was gonna be, which is a whole lot of Will Smith. So, if you love the guy like I do, you'll probably have a good time, even though the film is highly flawed, primarily in the script. Will Smith does a great job, as always, delivering his lines. You can see that he is pouring everything that he has into this character and these lines, and he almost makes you think that the dialogue in the movie is actually great, but in actuality, it's not. Not if you actually pay attention to what's being said. If you think the movie has great dialogue, you're likely just confusing it for pretty good acting from Smith himself. The script, on the other hand, is sloppy. It repeats itself so many times in the movie that I almost feel like the film has a lot of filler material, because it reiterates the same thing they already said 30 times in the movie already. We get it. He's a clone. He's a copy of a person. He was created from your blood. He's you. He's a clone. He's you. It's true. He's you. There's so much repetition going on here that it's honestly distracting. I also feel like once you take the clone aspect out of the movie, your basic plot is really silly and unoriginal. There's really not a good foundation, which makes me feel like the only reason you'd watch the movie at all is for the clone thing, which then becomes a gimmick. Because even though having a Will Smith clone is a lot of fun, the reason behind it is honestly pretty silly. The idea is there's no soldier like Will Smith out there. He is so much better than everybody else that the only way to end him is to copy him. And I don't buy it. Not a single person can take him out. No domestic or even outsourced agent can be stealthy enough to take him down. Come on, he's not a superhero. And we all know that he's not Neo because he turned down that role. It's almost like Will Smith is making a statement here that says, "I'm the best," which granted is what most of his songs seem to suggest. But I mean, come on. It's all an excuse to make a clone movie, and we've seen better excuses before to make clones in other films. The Island was all about creating clones in order to harvest their organs, but they don't know that they're clones. No, they're living a lie, being told that they'll escape to a utopia after winning a lottery, but that utopia is a terrifying operating room where they'll soon be killed for their organs. The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger is also a movie with a better reason behind creating clones, and Multiplicity with Michael Keaton, that was just a lot of fun. That being said, out of all these movies, Gemini Man is actually the only one that actually makes the most sense age-wise. A real clone would indeed be younger because it has to be born, it has to be raised. You can't just create a clone of a person at the same age, so I do appreciate that element of the film. But people aren't going to be going to this movie expecting a lot. I feel like most people will be watching this movie, will be seeing it for the cloning aspect, for the two Will Smiths, for the de-aging work done, the action, and most of all, they just they want to shut off their brain to enjoy the mindless action, and I believe Gemini Man delivers on that front. It's a fun action movie. I always love watching an actor fight a version of themselves in a movie. Heck, when my brothers and I were younger, we used to make movies, and one of them actually had a version of me fighting another version of me. So we've done it, and it is fun. I could have done without some of the action sequences feeling super sped up, though. When the younger version of Will Smith is fighting hand to hand, he feels really, really sped up, like how Jason Bourne fought in the first Bourne Identity movie, or like the vampires in I Am Legend with Will Smith. It just feels like it's on fast forward, but when older Will Smith fights, he's more rugged, natural, believable, so when the two fight each other, it feels weird because one feels normal and the other feels inhuman and unnatural almost, so my brain has trouble processing it. Maybe it was just me though. I think it's most important to understand that this movie doesn't feel like it was ever trying to be award-winning or perfect. It's meant to be seen as a fun action film, but not much more than that, and it's best if you're already a fan of Will Smith. What did I score Gemini Man? 73%, 73 out of 100 possible stars, granting it the letter grade of C. If you're wondering where this ranks in my Will Smith marathon of films, it's actually in 10th place, so it is found in the top 10, but there's a few ties on that list. There's actually 16 Will Smith movies in my top 10 for Will Smith, which places this in 15th or 16th place in a list of 24 movies that I scored overall. So take that as you will. Guys, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about Gemini Man. Are you a fan of Will Smith? Did you enjoy seeing Double? Let me know below. As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this review and would like to see some more. Like it, hit the thumbs up button because that always helps out my channel, and don't forget about that little bell because that helps notify you when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!